Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back, class 8. Let's continue with the human reproductive system. But before starting something new, we will revise the human male and female reproductive system which I had taken up in the last sessions. So the male reproductive system, I had told you, is made up of a pair of testes. These are the glands which are responsible for the production of the male reproductive cell, this and this, right? Responsible for male reproductive cells and the production of male hormones like testosterone, and consist of epididymis, two vas differentia, right? And that is ductus deferens that you can see over here, these, then urethra, penis, and the accessory glands. So what is the testes? I already told you that each male has a pair of testes, that is two testes which are oval in shape, and they lie in a scrotum. Their position is outside the body, so that the temperature is 2 to 3 degrees lower than the body temperature, and this is the temperature which is the most suitable for the production and development of sperms, right? Then these are responsible for the production of the male reproductive cells and that is the sperms, along with the male sex hormone, that is the testosterone. The next is the epididymis. They are called tube-like structures finally attached to which are very firmly attached to the testes. You can see this, right? And the function is to store the sperms which are being produced by the testes temporarily, means for a short while. Then vas deferens, that you can even call as vas differentia, vas differentia, or ductus deferens, and it is a narrow duct. It starts from the epididymis and it carries, and starting from the epididymis it joins the urethra. What is the function? And it carries the sperms to the urethra by the action of its muscular walls, right? This is the vas deferens. Then apart from this, urethra is a long tube that arises from the urinary bladder over here, right? This is the urinary bladder and passes through the penis. This is the penis, right? And it opens outside through the male genital pore. Now here is the male genital pore. The position, the marking is not shown, right? And the urethra carries either urine or sperm at a time. So this urethra is this passage for urine as well as the sperm, which are carried one at a time. Then penis is a long and thick muscular organ. This is a long and thick muscular organ and passes urine and also injects sperms into the vagina of the female during intercourse. Then there are accessory glands, that is the seminal vesicles, right? That is the seminal vesicles. Then the prostrate gland and the corpus gland, the position is over here, it has not been marked, right? And the function is basically to produce fluid, and all of the three produce fluid. The one which is produced by the seminal vesicle and prostrate glands, it is an alkaline fluid and provides nourishment or nutrition to the growing and developing embryo. I beg your pardon, growing and developing sperms. Then there are the secretion of the corpus gland. They secrete a fluid that serve as a lubricant and makes the passage of the sperms easier. Lubricant means avoiding the friction. Then the female reproductive system. In the female reproductive system, you can see it has a pair of ovaries, right? The pair of ovaries. Then the fallopian tubes, these tubes you can see, right? And uterus and vagina. Uterus and the vagina. So what are ovaries? They are whitish oval bodies. This you can see in the lower half of the abdomen, on the side of the uterus. On the side of the uterus, this I have already told you. And what do they produce? They produce the female reproductive cells, that are the ova or singular ovum, or even they are called as the eggs, and they even produce the female hormones, that is the estrogen and progesterone. Is it clear? Next are the fallopian tubes, that is these tubes, you can see these are the fallopian tubes. They are thin and coiled muscular tubes. Each fallopian tube is a funnel shaped opening, has a funnel shaped opening near the ovary, and so that the ovary when it produces the egg, that is the ovulation takes place, then this moves on to the fallopian tube. It is picked up by the fallopian tube through this funnel shaped opening on both the sides, you can see, है ना? So the ovum fertilizes with the sperm to form a zygote in this fallopian tube. That is, the process of fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube. Next part is the uterus, right? This is the uterus. You can see it in the form of a bag like structure, and this is even called as the womb. And the growth and the development of the zygote into a baby takes place in the uterus. What is a zygote? The fusion of the male and female reproductive cell, that is the ovum and the sperm, produce the zygote, and this develops into a baby inside the uterus. Then is the vagina, and this uterus opens into a wide canal, or wide muscular tube, which is called the vagina, and this is the part which opens outside the body, and this is the part which receives the sperms from the male during intercourse, that is when the male and female come in contact, and it also serves as a birth canal, and through this only the baby is born, that it comes out of the mother's body. Is it clear? So this is the female reproductive system, and today we will study about the fertilization, implantation and development of embryo. Now you can see the diagram of the human sperm and the human ovum. Is that clear? This is the male reproductive cell, and this is the female reproductive cell. You can see the structure. I have already told you about the structure of the sperm, that it consists of three parts: the head, neck and the tail. While in the case of the egg, you can see it consists of a centrally located nucleus which lies inside, and there are different inside the cytoplasm, and then it is surrounded by different layers, that is zona pellucida, right? This is one layer, and then there are follicular cells, which you need not study in detail. You should be knowing that this contains a nucleus inside. So after the sexual intercourse, that is when the male and female come in contact, the sperms get deposited into the vagina of a female through the penis. Is that clear? And just because the sperms have tail, they move with the help of their tails. So each and every part that God has given us, it has a function to perform. Is that clear? So it is for the movement of the sperm inside the vagina that this tail is there. Now after that, the sperm reaches the fallopian tube through the uterus, right? So what is released inside the vagina is the semen. What is semen? That is, it contains sperms and secretion of the accessory glands. So it is a milky fluid and which contains millions of sperm, that is around 2.5 to 400 ml of semen contains around about 300 to 400 million sperms. You can see the number. I mean, you can imagine it, such a big or huge amount it is. So what happens is that the rest of the, when they reach the fallopian tube, only a few of them reach the ovum. This is the ovum, the outer boundary of the ovum, right? You can see only a few of them have reached the ovum, and only one sperm fuses with the egg. It is, all of them are trying to penetrate, but only one of the sperm has gained entry. You can see the wall is broken over here, right? The layer which was there, outer layer of the ovum, this has been ruptured by this sperm, and the sperm has entered the inside of the ovum. And what is left behind, you can see, is the tail. Sperm, the tail of the sperm is left behind, and only the head portion containing the nucleus, male nuclei or the male nucleus, penetrates into the egg. That is, inside what reaches is the male nucleus, and already there is a female nucleus present over there. Now this process is called as fertilization. Is it clear? I am repeating it once again. That is, after the sexual intercourse, what happens? The sperm move with their tails. You can see the tail. Then they reach the fallopian tube through the uterus. Then millions of sperms are released into the vagina, but only a few of them reach the ovum. And out of those few, only one is able to penetrate the ovum, and that one also leaves its tail behind, and what enters inside the ovum is the male nuclei. Is that clear? So this is called as fertilization, and it results in the formation of zygote. And this is the egg that you can see, the egg cell or the ovum, and this is the sperm. Now after this, the nucleus of the sperm has entered the ovum, and what is the resultant? That is the zygote. With the presence, you can see the two type. This is the male nucleus and this is the female nucleus. Is it clear? And they fuse together to form the zygote. This process, that is the fusion of sperm and egg to form a zygote, is called as fertilization. Is it clear? This fusion of the sperm and egg to form a zygote is known as fertilization. Now this process of fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube. Is that clear? The process of fertilization takes place inside the fallopian tube. Now what happens is, after the fertilization process is complete, that is fusion process is complete, zygote forms, then what happens is that this zygote which you have seen is formed by the fusion of the two nuclei, that is the male and female nuclei. It starts dividing rapidly. Inside the zygote, the cells start dividing rapidly to form a ball of many cells. You can see this, there is, if you see it minutely, you will see small circles, isn't it? So this has started forming, instead of two cells, now there are many cells which have started forming inside. So at this stage, this ball of many cells is known as the embryo. Is that clear? This ball of many cells is known as the embryo. Now this sinks, now this keeps on moving, it does not fix itself to the, you can see this is the fallopian tube, the zygote does not get fixed. Then once it forms the embryo, it does not get fixed to this. It keeps on moving inside the fallopian tube, and through the fallopian tube it comes inside the uterus, and it gets fixed over there to the thick wall of the uterus. Is that clear? So this fixing of the embryo in the wall of the uterus for further development is called as implantation, and this state is called pregnancy. This state is called pregnancy. You can see how the zygote has moved, and from the zygote the division of cells has taken place, that is, it has become multicellular now, and it has started moving. From there it gets implanted over here, gets fixed over here in the form of embryo. This state is called as pregnancy. Is it clear? And this is what is there, that is the zygote that was there, how it has changed from the two cell, the fusion of two cell using nuclei of the male and female. It has changed into many celled embryo. This is an embryo. Is that clear? And this form is in which the embryo gets implanted into the uterus. Is it clear? This is called as implantation. Now this is a clear view of how you can see the cells that the zygote has. Now you can see over here this how the zygote has moved from the fallopian tube into the uterus, and how that two nucleated has become multinucleated now. Double nucleated had become multinucleated and form an embryo, and it has got fixed to the wall of the uterus, which is known as the endometrium. This is the thick wall of the uterus. Is that clear? And this embryo has got fixed inside into the thick wall of the uterus. This is known as implantation. You can see the exact view inside the wall of the uterus. This is called implantation. And what happens in this? There is further division of the cells, and the cells that are there, they begin to form groups. You have studied now how the groups of cells form different tissues, and the groups of different tissues form organs and organ systems of the body. You have studied this, isn't it? So here also the same thing has happened, that is, group of cells develop into different tissues, and these groups of different types of tissues form organs, and organs develop into different organ systems of the body. That is, all the systems of the human body are developed inside this, as this keeps on growing and the cells keep on growing and developing. This is known as the differentiation. differentiation. That is, they differentiate, they become different for different function. They get specialized for performing different function. Is that clear? They become specialized. For example, for the digestive system, there will be a different group of cells for different parts of the digestive system. For the nervous system, they will be different. So this is called differentiation. That is, different groups of cells get specialized to form special functions. This is called differentiation. Is it clear? So the cells then begin to form groups that develop into different tissues, organs and organ systems of the body, and this process is called as differentiation. Now you can see this, that the embryo has grown fully. The ball of cell that you had seen in the last picture, it is not the same now. You can see it in the form of the developed embryo, which is called as the fetus, when it has developed all the body parts. Is that clear? And how it is attached to the wall of the uterus? By the placenta, by a cord like structure. Cord, you understand? Rope like structure, which is known as the placenta. And this is the part, that is the placenta, which provides nutrition to the growing baby. Is that clear? This cord like structure that you can see is known as placenta and provides nutrition to the growing embryo. Is it clear? Now this embryo is surrounded by a sac like structure. You can see it is surrounded by a sac like structure, and this sac like structure is filled, or sac like membrane, a layer. Is that clear? It is filled with a fluid, a liquid. What is the function of this fluid? It acts as a cushion and protects the growing embryo. Cushion means something which is cushioning, that is whatever direct injury or any jerk or any type of problem which is coming will not be direct. There will be a layer or there will be a cushion, right? This fluid acts as a cushion which absorbs those shocks and jerks and prevent it from getting inside and affecting the growing embryo. Is that clear? So the name of that fluid is not given in your book. That is known as amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid, AMNIOTIC, fluid, and the layer or the membrane which is surrounded, or the embryo is surrounded by a sac-like membrane, that is known as amnion, AMNION. Is that clear? Now this embryo continues to grow in the uterus, that is keeps on developing in the uterus, growing and developing, that is growing, increasing in size, right? And developing means developing all its parts. The cell differentiation keeps on taking place. Then it gradually develops the hands, legs, head, eyes and ears, which you can see in this diagram. So this stage of the embryo in which all the body parts can be identified. You can identify where is the head, or where are the ears, where is the eye, or where are the hands or the parts also. This is known as the fetus. Is that clear? This is called the fetus. Is it clear? The next is the period from fertilization of the egg, that is the period which is between fertilization and birth. When the young one develops in the uterus, that is known as the gestation period, GESTATION, gestation period. Is that clear? So that is the period from fertilization of the egg till the birth of the baby is called gestation period, and it is about 280 days or 9 months in humans, right? It is 280 days or 9 months in humans, and when this fetus is fully developed, the muscles of the uterus contract to push the baby out from the womb, and the mother gives birth to the baby. Is that clear? That is from the embryo then to the fetus, and the time is complete, that is the time of, or the gestation period of 9 months is complete. The fetus becomes fully developed. All the parts are fully developed. The muscles of the uterus contract, that they contract to push the baby out from the womb. Is that clear? From the uterus, and the mother gives birth to the baby. So this is how the process of fertilization, implantation, development of embryo and the birth of the baby took place. In the next session, inshallah, we will discuss about the growth. How does the growth process takes place in the life of a human? Inshallah, revise what we have studied today. Allah Hafiz.